Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Peace, love, and positivity to you. My name is Sohum, and today I'll be giving a first-time reaction to the Australian folk pop group The Seekers. They were super popular in the 60s and eventually with their popularity were able to break through the glass ceiling and start charting in the US and the UK markets. I believe they are one of the first Australian groups to be able to accomplish that feat, so they must have been doing something right. But the thing is, I have never heard of them before, though I give myself some grace there because they were popular in the 60s in Australia, and I was born in 1997 in the middle of the US. But a huge thanks today to Russell for making this reaction request and for bringing The Seekers to the channel and to my attention. But now, my friends, without further ado, let's jump into it, starting with The Carnival is Over. We got two guitars, a vocalist, and a huge bass. Harmony is lovely. And my tears are falling rain. Immediately reminds me of the Mamas and Papas. Is over. We may never meet again. They're on opposite ends of the world. Voice is gorgeous. Pretty sure this is Clark Kent at his day job. A huge thick phrase. It's a good melody. This will be our last goodbye. So fluid. You till I die, like a drum, my heart was beating, and your kiss was sweet as wine. But the joy. In that moment right there, you hear this vocalist right in the middle, almost like a sandwich. Above are the super bright soaring strings, and below is that emergent acoustic melody. Listen for that again here. I like when they all sing together. Here they go, jet setting. Super pretty. That is a really pretty song. I like everything about it. There's a simplicity to the lyrics, a simplicity to the melody, and I feel like once you kind of get it, it becomes like an anthemic song where everybody can kind of sing along to, because we all understand the idea of the carnival with that warm summer's night, beautiful lights everywhere, the smells of all of the concession stands, and the scamminess of all of the different games. I mean, I don't know. Like, okay, this is a rant about carnival games for a second. Don't businesses realize that to actually communicate value to a consumer, they should actually provide value? What is the point of giving people a game that they know is rigged? There's so much material about how rigged those games are. Don't you want people to have fun? Let's play a game that's actually fair and then see how things shake out. That's just me. But I digress. We can all understand the idea of the carnival, and it's a stand-in in this song to me for a relationship that she knows has to come to an end. I think everybody knows that all good things, they must come to an end. And you can still have all of those loving feelings after the fact for that person, but it cannot exist in the form that it once was. I have had this belief for a while that, like, if you've had loves in the past, it's not like you lose that love necessarily. It is just the time and place in your life where that love was transmitted. Now, it's now a substantively different emotion now. And not to say love is an emotion for real. Like, we can conceptualize love as being the action, the continued action of loving somebody for who they are unconditionally. But I feel like even if you've had a past relationship where you grew from, you can think back to it and have the fond memories. Though things weren't perfect and they had to end, there was still love there in whatever capacity that looked like. So it's a version of two ships who reconvened met with one another at one point, never got a chance to reconvene. They kind of sailed past one another. Who knows if the carnival has a chance to restart, but in this song, it's sort of a bittersweet closure with a really pretty melody on top. Super fun listen. Let's check the next one out. This is Georgy Girl. Georgie sounds like a very Australian name, and is also the name of the child in the It movies.
Hey there, Georgy girl, swinging down the street so fancy-free. Nobody you meet could ever see the loneliness there inside you. Hey there, Georgy girl, why do all the boys just pass you by? Could it be you just don't try, or is it the clothes you wear? You're always window shopping, but
so
never
good.
stopping to buy. So shed those dowdy feathers and fly.
There's an elegance to her voice. The way she just held that one note here.
Window shopping, but never stopping to buy. So shed those dowdy feathers and fly a little bit. Hey there, Georgy girl, there's another Georgie deep inside. Bring out all the love you hide, and oh, what a change there'd be. The world would see a new Georgy girl.
Find your inner confidence, Georgie. You are inside you. Don't suppress. Let it all out. A lot of bright textures in this song. Like the way that acoustic guitar sounds in my right headphone, it is mixed extremely bright, which is weird because everything else relatively is a bit quieter. But I also want to say, like, in the middle of the panning, I'm hearing the, like, almost like UFO-esque vocals. They're very lofty and almost hollow sounding. Hear what I'm talking about? But I do think they need to turn down the acoustic guitar just a little bit here.
Georgy girl,
now it's fine.
of someone you could be. Life is a reality, you can't always run away. Don't be so inside. Bring out all the love you hide, and oh, what a change there'd be. The world would see a new Georgy girl. Beware, Georgy girl. Georgy girl. Beware, Georgy girl. Wake up, Georgy girl. Beware, Georgy Wake girl. Up, Georgy girl.
I love songs like this, all about becoming who you are already, more so discovering who you are and letting that version flourish and truly allow yourself to just exist in this world plainly as you are, rather than trying to put on a mask or hide away your feelings or your true beliefs. Just be in this world because you are enough. You have that innate beauty, you have that innate confidence. It's time that you believe it. And it kind of makes me emotional, to be honest, because this is the kind of messaging I wish I heard as a kid. I definitely suffered from my fair share of self-esteem issues, and over time, like, I've worked on them, and I'm in front of you guys all telling you about these things that went on with me. And it's not a very uncommon thing either. Oftentimes people associate their inability to fully express themselves with shame, and that's an unfortunate combination, because if you look at your inner voice and say, hey, you should be shamed for having that voice, then it's like you're doing double damage, because you've kept yourself suppressed for so long, and then you're also self-criticizing or shaming that version that you're hiding away, all the while in your heart of hearts, that version needs to be let free. That version needs to be pedestalized truly, because what's the alternative? Diminishing who you are? Then what's your experience in this world? It's going to be a shadow of what it actually could be. And I don't want to fear monger and come from the perspective of, oh, you won't experience all that there is to offer, but because you know that you've shackled yourself, that's where I can at least make the more confident statement and say there is more to you than even you may realize. So you almost have to constantly re-unlock yourself. It's not just like a one and done kind of thing, though I wish it would be, where you kind of set it and forget it and now you're just always this way. You have your good days, you have your bad days, and the whole goal is to make as many good days as you can happen for yourself and minimize the number of bad days. But you can also re-clarify what good and bad mean to you. If for me, on the good days, I'm still being myself, or on the bad days, I'm still being myself, that is a far better outcome than to not be myself on the so-called good days. Because then technically the good days aren't happening to me, they're happening to the exterior that I put forth. And what was the point of all that? Let it be you, But that's what I take away from this Georgy Girl song. I love the meaning here especially. The musicality is really fun. Their harmonies are the main allure for me, enjoying these bigger moments. But I got to give my hats off to the lead vocalist here. What is her name? Is it Judith Durham? I don't know why this website has the instruments and players differently. Judith is the only female name here, so I'm going to go with that. Beautiful song. Let's check out the final one of the day. This one is I'll Never Find Another You, which, by the way, this video is an unlisted one, so if you're going to find this one yourself, you better hit the links in the description box to access this last one.
Take 11.
Probably a good thing.
You ready? Right, let's make this.
I'm ready, Superman. for pausing here. I'm just noticing now for the first time it's a 12-string acoustic and a 6-string. So a lot of the richness that was coming from the strumming, you'll hear it from this left guitarist here because it's a 12-string.
There's a new world somewhere they call the promised land, and I'll be there someday if you will hold my hand. I still need you there beside me, no matter what I do, for I know I'll never find another you.
There is always someone for each of us, they say, and you'll be my someone forever and a day. I could search the whole world over until my life is through, but I know I'll never find another you. It's a long, long journey.
Their voices are perfect together.
By my side,
A lot of depth to this range.
walk through the storm, you'll be my guide, be my guide. If they gave me a fortune, my pleasure would be small. I could lose it all tomorrow and never mind at all. But if I should lose your love, dear, I don't know what I'd do, for I know I'll never find another you. But if I should lose your love, dear, I don't know what I'll do, for I know I'll never find another you, another you, another you.
There you have it. That is The Seekers. I'll never find another you. Another beautiful song. I feel like a broken record at this point, just saying beautiful song, beautiful song, beautiful song. But I feel like that is the best way to describe everything that we're hearing here. The melodies are pretty simple. Lyrics are pretty simple. It's all about the careful delivery of that simplicity that makes it such a beautiful listen. Definitely a lot of that is coming from the super warm textures from the acoustic guitars and that huge bass. I don't know if it's like a double bass. There's like different classifications of bass. I just go with upright bass because that is visually what's happening on my screen. But you have a huge warm sound coming from those three. And then the lead vocals from Judith just sit so cleanly above all of that, which is really nice. The one thing that has thrown me off a little bit in the mixing is the brightness of the lead acoustic melody whenever it's kind of come up in each of the songs. I feel like it is just like a handful of decibels too high. If that was quieted down a little bit, I think the levels would make a little bit more sense and we could give Judith a little bit more of that spotlight, because I feel like the clarity and elegance in her voice is the main draw for me, and all of the surrounding vocals that support her then become the secondary focus in any of those moments. But what happens to my ears, at least when I hear the bright acoustic there, is it'll kind of like shift all of my focus to that one element, and then I lose a little bit of the attention to Judith's voice. So that's a very specific point. I'm kind of nitpicking there, but let me know what your thoughts are on that. But for me today with The Seekers, this was a really fun listen for me. I feel like I am more educated as a music listener, not just with songs from the United States, but also abroad. Like, you guys know me, I am down to listen to anything from anywhere at, in any era. I am just down for it all. And I feel like bands like this who don't get enough recognition in the modern day from other places in the world deserve to be showcased. So thank you, Russell, for bringing The Seekers to the channel. One last thing I wanted to say about the set of songs that we heard today and the style. It is that like it is folk pop. It is that classic kind of sound. I could totally imagine these songs being utilized like specifically for the game Fallout. If you've ever played those video games, you'll know kind of why that makes sense to say. And I'm also thinking, like, because the bones of these songs are so strong, they could easily be repurposed for a great many use cases or stylized for different genres. I think covers for these tracks would go crazy, actually, because there's a lot of flexibility when you have a simple bass to work from. At least that's what I've found. Anytime where I try to like put a song on in the background and play my guitar solo along to that song, it is always easier for me to do my soloing and ideation if the core of the melody or the instrumentation is a bit simpler, so that I have more space to maneuver. If it's the other way around, where the song itself is far more complex, then it becomes a bit harder as a musician to find a place to enter, because there's already so much densely packed into a song like that. So I feel like with The Seekers, they've opted for a simplistic songwriting approach, and it works remarkably well. I would say out of the 3 songs I heard today, The Carnival Is Over was probably my favorite. Just in terms of melody alone, I think that immediately resonated well with me. And then probably in second place, I would give it to I'll Never Find Another You. But again, please let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care and peace.